This is A9 factoring by grouping. So in level 4, what we're going to do, we will be using the same AC method like we did in level 3. The only difference is our A term, or leading coefficient, will be some number other than 1. Okay? So before we can factor these, we need to learn about a couple strategies that we will have to use. One of these is called grouping. Okay? So grouping works for polynomials that have 4 terms. Okay? And that's pretty much the only background information you need to know at this point. It's best to work through some examples to see how this grouping works. Okay? So we will first group the first 2 terms together and the last 2 terms together. So my first 2 terms, 5r squared, or 5r cubed plus 40r squared, and 3r plus 24. Okay, so now we have 2 expressions in parentheses. Now we are going to factor out the GCFs from both groups. So my GCF for this first group would be 5r squared, and that would leave me with r plus 8. And then my GCF for my second grouping is positive 3, which leaves me with r plus 8. Now notice this is no coincidence right here. We have the same expression in both our parentheses. Okay? This means we did this correctly. Okay? This means that r plus 8 is one of our factors. Okay? If we group and we take out our GCFs and we realize that this expression does not match this expression, we have done something wrong. Okay? We have not factored correctly. So there might be some trial and error involved. Okay? So notice how we had 5r cubed plus 40r squared plus 3r plus 24 in this order. You may need to switch the order around in order to factor this correctly. Okay? So if you don't get it the first try, don't worry about it, just play around with it. So our 2 factors are going to be r plus 8 and whatever is outside of parentheses. So we have 5r squared and plus 3. Okay, so our 2 factors are whatever is in the parentheses and then whatever is outside the parentheses. So our final factored form of this equation, or this polynomial, will be 5r squared plus 3 times r plus 8. Okay, at this point, you can move on to the example video for A9 factoring by grouping.